I die, I'm gonna donate my brain to science so that you guys can study a real bitch. Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Nays Fucks Given. And in this episode, I'm gonna teach you how to be a real bitch because obviously there's a shortage. So last episode, we learned how to stop being pathetic, and now that we pulled ourselves out of our hole of despair and self-pity, we are now going to learn how to pull ourselves up like the real bitches that we are. So enjoy the video, follow me on all socials, and comment down below what is the biggest part of being a real bitch to you. Okay, what are your main pillars of being a real bitch? I want to hear about it. I want to learn about it. I want to talk about it. So talk to me down below and let's get into it.
For the haters, you know where you could kiss it, because you don't pay my bills. And I'm the baddest bitch.
You know, I believe in divine timing, and when I feel led, and I feel like recently I've noticed there's been a shortage of real bitches. So here I am, and now that we are done being pathetic, we are gonna learn how to be a real bitch, because it's levels to this.
You know I had to do it soon. It's time to wake them up.
Okay, and before y'all start, oh, I don't like that word, baby, I'm from Atlanta, I don't know, that's like a term of endearment. Substitute whatever word you want to substitute in there, whatever floats your boat. If this isn't your ministry, I'm gonna give you my own commandments, and we're just gonna chop it up, okay? So the core traits, we are gonna have unshakable standards, okay? I feel like a real bitch, you really stand on business. I reposted this post on my story the other day that was like, Mondays don't get me because I have my shit in order and I handle my business like a real bitch. Exactly. Like, you're remember, when you're a real bitch, you're unfuckwittable, okay? I'm put a definition of unfuckwittable on the screen, okay? And so when you're unfuckwittable, yes, things happen, but things aren't happening to you, they're happening around you. Control the controllables, okay? Control the controllables. You're gonna be unshakable. No matter what comes your way, you're gonna stand 10 toes down in your character. Can't nothing take you out of your body and make you act any type of way. I don't care what Dick, Tom, Harry, and Sally did. That ain't got nothing to do with me, okay? Just because y'all are crashing out doesn't mean I'm going to crash out, honestly. So I feel like whatever are your non-negotiables, and I feel like when people talk about non-negotiables and standards and boundaries, we're always thinking in a relationship scheme.
What's your dream first date?
Oh, actually sitting down next to a real nigga. Huh? That's a dream.
And I feel like decenter that. You need to have boundaries and standards and non-negotiables for every aspect of your life, because if not, how do you have any structure? And if you don't have any structure, how do you have your life together? And I'm speaking to myself. When I say this. So when I'm saying these things, I'm being a real bitch to you and me. Clock that, okay? And I think that, like, you should have non-negotiables. Like, so for me, a non-negotiable is my maintenance. I went through a period where I wasn't getting my nails done and I felt ugly. It's first world problem, I don't care, but I believe, like, a non-negotiable that I'm trying to make for myself is self-adornment. I don't know if anybody on here watches Leah Alexander. I love her, and she always preaches about self-adornment, and I think that's something that I never really thought about, especially if you're living out of survival mode or you're just in an in-between state. These are things that you just don't think about. You know, like, when you're in survival mode, you're not thinking about, your nails or your hair or whatever. So now that I am blessed enough to be in a more peaceful state of mind, that is something that is a non-negotiable for me. And also, preservation of my peace is something that's a non-negotiable for me. I can't show up for anybody else if I'm not showing up for myself. How can I be the realest bitch to you when I'm not being the realest bitch to myself? That's really like a non-negotiable for me. I'm not showing up more for anybody else than the capacity that I show up for myself. You should pour the most into you. I don't care. Like, be selfish. Yeah, don't negotiate your non-negotiables. Stand on it. And I feel like, just to round that out, how can you hold anybody else accountable to the things that you want or the standard that you would like to be treated in when you don't even maintain that standard for yourself? Why would I ever respect you and I don't even see that you do it for yourself? Like, you want me to go above and beyond and you don't even do it for you. My standard for other people is indicative of the standard that I have for myself. So whatever standard I'm holding you to, I'm holding myself to that same standard. That is a non-negotiable. So just remember that. Like, whatever non-negotiables you have when it's in accordance to other people, just make sure that you know that when you're pointing that finger out, you got how many fingers pointing back at you, and you need to make sure all your I's are dotted and all your T's are crossed. Okay, keep it cute. Emotional discipline is another one in my pillars of just being a real bitch. I think that emotional intelligence and maturity is something that, especially in this generation, is at an all-time low. You got to think that we're a society where I can scroll and I can see a country getting bombed, a school getting shot up, and then it's Charlie D'Amelio hitting a worm. Like, it doesn't make sense to me, and we're all very desensitized, and it creates this level of, you know, disconnection as a generation. And I feel like having that emotional discipline, like, you're alive and awake and you're plugged into the world. A real bitch practices empathy every single day, and that's something a lot of you hoes lack.
Sometimes a nigga need a hug.
I just think that real bitches have empathy, okay? Not sympathy. I'm not gonna sit here and pity you, but I'm gonna have empathy. I'm going to have common human decency for my neighbor, you know? And I think that we think that everything is so transactional, you can't show up for your neighbor. Like, we can get into a whole conversation about the decline of third spaces and how that's really related to the lack of community and why we're so desensitized as a people. But y'all can go on the blog where we really get into that, okay? But we're not there. But I think that, like, emotional discipline is important, and also how you conduct yourself. I really respect women that have mastered emotional maturity. I really look up to my mother because she really has that mastered. There's a lot of times where I get uncomfortable with silence. People are silent when I'm having this, like, a conversation, or I give feedback where it might not be the most easiest conversation. I get very uncomfortable when there's silence. And, you know, as a real bitch, I gotta sit and be like, you know what, sometimes it just ain't shit to say. Sometimes people just gotta think, and they gotta digest what you're telling them. And even if it was uncomfortable, or even if it's something that they did not want to hear, it had to be said, because I had to stand on my non-negotiables, and that's standing up and speaking out for myself. Okay? And I have that emotional discipline to be able to do it in an empathetic way that doesn't hurt anybody's feelings, because a lot of y'all confuse being real with being an asshole. It's two different things. You can have strong boundaries and be strict and and still be soft. You don't have to be rude, you don't. And that's something that lesson I learned every day, that it is a thin line. And especially if you're like an extremist and you're a person that, especially like for me, I used to be a really big people pleaser, so it is hard, and sometimes it's hard to learn that balance between, you know, being kind and polite and being empathetic and not being an asshole. Like, it's a very, 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 very thin line. So keep all those pieces in play and just carrying yourself, you know, appropriately. I think that I'm not even that old. Like, I'm 24 years old, baby. I'm young. However, I go out, and there were places I used to go, like when I was in undergrad, that we don't really frequent anymore. And I was like, you know, like, let's just do that. Like, let's go down memory lane. Like, why not? And I'm out here, and I'm just like, this isn't cute, y'all. This is not cute. Like, whatever happened to decorum, whatever happened to tact. Like, I think we forget about digital footprint, and that is important. And I think you should really carry yourself in a way that is appropriate when you're in public. Personally, I think every time you step outside the house, you're a representation of yourself and your family and the people around you. And that's not even add on to the thing if you have a platform or a business or whatever. And you loud fighting your man in the club, I can't. It's too much. Like, we've all been there, done that, but it's like, it's played. And I think that's my biggest thing about being a real bitch in this day. It's like, at this point, you know, if you're under I'm not 25 yet. I'm about to be 25. So we'll just put it at 25 and under. Like, we'll give myself 6 more months of grace of just, like, being fucking stupid. Because I said by the time my 25th birthday hits, that frontal lobe cortex better be ticking, mama. Okay? I'm not doing no more stuff. Like, it just has to click when I wake up. It just does. It just does. And if it doesn't, I'm gonna go back to sleep, wake up, and it's gonna click when I do. Okay? Clock that. And I think that, like, below a certain age, there's a certain amount of grace for you to act a certain way. But after a certain period of time, you can't blame it on nobody else, no trauma, no nothing. This is you, and you have to take ownership of your life. And you have to know how to carry yourself and how to conduct yourself. And just because somebody does something to you or says something to you crazy doesn't mean that you are allowed to act however you want. And that's just what I think. So keep your emotions under control. Silence. This is something I was just saying that I'm working on. I think a real bitch knows when to shut the fuck up. I realized that I don't have to say everything I'm thinking. I don't have to tell everybody everything. And y'all don't need to know my every move. Have a little mystery, girl. Have a little mystery. Have a little mystery, okay? Have you some mystery, all right? And I think that sometimes you just need to receive the message and you just need to digest it. And you don't need to speak. And I feel like that sometimes with people, I'm like, just take it. Just take it. You don't need to speak on it right now. Take it, digest it. Because sometimes with certain moments and certain conversations and certain things when you're supposed to take something and grow and learn from it, to truly digest that message or that feedback, you have to take time to yourself. And if you don't, I don't trust you. You scare me. You scare me. Learn to be quiet sometimes, okay? Just self-ownership / accountability. I had a moment this week where I experienced an extreme amount of frustration, and it low-key inspired this video because I don't want to sound ageist, y'all. Down cancel me. Please, 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 please. But one thing about me that I'm really trying to work on is having patience for things I deem incompetent. So especially if you're double my age, I have very low patience for lack of accountability or just self-awareness. That really frustrates me. And I think to be a real person in this world, like, scrap all the funny being a real bitch, but just to be a real person in this world that's awake and alive and plugged and tapped into the world, feedback is never fun. Hearing that you were wrong or that you did something, that's never something fun to hear ever. Nobody ever wants to be like, I was wrong. That's not fun. That's not fun. However, there's a level of respect that I have for people that show up unadulteratedly as themselves and they take accountability, because at the end of the day, we're all trying to figure it out. And sometimes you might hurt somebody's feelings. You might say something crazy. You're gonna make a mistake. You're gonna step on somebody's toes. But as long as you show up every day, hey, this is me, unadulteratedly, and you're just trying to honestly and earnestly show up every single day as yourself and be the best version of yourself, you know, be accountable and be like, hey, I fucked up. Hey, I messed up. Hey, I made a mistake. That's real. Hey, girl, when I said that to you, I was really upset. I was really annoyed, and I snapped on you. I'm so sorry. I did not mean it that way. Hey, girl, I get you. And that made me feel like this, and that's maybe why I reacted like that. Was that right? No, but that's just what happened. And we move on. Y'all don't know how to take no accountability, and it pisses me off. I don't care. If you're wrong, you're wrong. If you lie, you lie. As an adult and as a real person in this world, if you did something, if you're bold and you're bad enough to do it, you're bold and you are bad enough to take accountability and self-control over your life and your actions. Nobody can make you do nothing you don't want to do. And if you let them do that, that's on you. You, at the end of the day, you made that decision to go along with what they're doing. All depending, because you know, violence, coercion, people force you to do stuff. We not going down that route for y'all. Don't start, please. We're not here for that. However, I just really don't like that. Like when people are like, when you're having a conversation and you're just like, hey, because I'm a very direct person. Hey, you hurt my feelings and I'll tell you exactly where. When you said this and you did this and you did it like that, that bothered me. That really hurt my feelings. Like a real bitch knows how to advocate for themselves, okay? That goes into that emotional discipline we were talking about, okay? Sometimes what you gotta do Is you gotta have that emotional discipline, take that strategic silence, and you gotta come back and you gotta have a level of accountability. You gotta have a conversation like a real bitch and be like, hey, this is what it is and this is what it isn't. I'm sorry for this, or maybe you need that apology or whatever it is, and we can move forward. But the issue is, y'all didn't watch this video and y'all didn't learn how to be a real bitch, so you don't know how to do that. You don't. You don't. Y'all talking about y'all program real strict, but it's you just blocking. It's not recognizing the red flags. It's not learning how to have emotional intelligence and realizing maybe I'm led by lust and I don't actually like this person. It's not having effective, concise communication and knowing how to advocate for yourself. It's none of those things. Unplug from the bullshit that is this world and its perceptions and whatever everybody else thinks about you, and stop giving a fuck and start showing up as a real bitch for yourself, and I'm telling you, your life will be so much better. Stop living for other people. Stop living for other expectations. Don't hold yourself hostage to anything besides what you want to do and how you feel. That's how you be a real bitch. Like, I really want you guys to, like, take a sheet of paper and write down, like, what are my non-negotiables? What are my non-negotiables for every aspect of life? You know how we do, how you go to school and you get a curriculum and you get every subject and it tells you the main pillars of what you're going to be learning? That's what I want you to do. I want you to do relationship. I want you to do work. I want you to do home, business, beauty, lifestyle, however you want to break it down. And I want you to do at least 5 non-negotiables. Okay? 5 non-negotiables. 5 non-negotiables. When you look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, what is the best version of myself? What is the realest bitch alive, the realest and the illest and the sickest bitch alive? What does she look like when she shows up in the building? And you figure out what that looks like, and you figure out what type of boundaries and standards that she has or they have to maintain that type of life that you want, and you put it into action and you do that. And you take accountability that, hey, sometimes what I thought was for me might not be for me no more. Or it's for me and maybe I need to be less lazy. Maybe I need to show up more. Maybe I need to procrastinate less. And I'm speaking to myself, okay? Okay? We all are on this planet trying to figure it out. So be nice to yourself. Be kind to yourself. But do not coddle or enable yourself, okay? Be a real bitch to yourself, too. First and foremost, okay? So, if you listen to all of this, you are my favorite. I love you. We're lovers now. We're married. So, just know that today's our anniversary. This is our wedding anniversary. But yeah, this is all the things of being a real bitch, and I think that the most important thing is that Rome wasn't built in a day, and you need to, at first, listen to this video, watch this video, go stream me some Cash Doll, okay? Lock in with that, lock in with yourself, and then I want you to look at every single part of your life, okay? And identify realistically where you need to remove or add to, and break it up into small habits every day. Okay? Okay, maybe today, girl, I'm not gonna text him back. Maybe today I'm not gonna text him back. Maybe today, when this girl try me, I'm gonna really tell her about herself. You gotta pick something every single day. You have to. You have to. You have to get up every single day and you have to try. So that's what I want y'all to do. So if you listen to this, thank you. And I love you down, 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 down. We just made out. And this was Nay's Fucks Given. I don't know if I said that in the beginning. But yeah, this is Nay's Fucks Given. How to be a real bitch. And I'll see you when I see you. You can follow me on all socials at Danaja Monet, Danaja. If you're on Instagram, it has a period, and then Monae. If you're on TikTok, it's no period. It's just all together. Stalk me. Get into it. I love having conversations. Join my broadcast channel on Instagram. I spam y'all like you're a man that doesn't like me. So if you're into that, and you want to match my freak, you know where to find me. It's all in the drop down below. And I'll see y'all later.
I just know I'm the shit. And you supposed to know you the shit too.